We start with the Lakers and Grizzlies game one. The biggest news came when Ja Morant ran off the court screaming in pain. Like he was like crying out in pain, holding his right hand midway through the fourth quarter. X-rays did come back negative, but his availability in game two in jeopardy, it seems. Meantime, LeBron and AD combined for 43 points. That's the third fewest they've combined for in a playoff win together, but they didn't need it. The Lakers got 29 from Rui Hachimura. I mean, in the third quarter, this dude couldn't miss. And then they got 23 from Austin Reeves, a lot of them down the stretch. Sunday marked the third time this LeBron-led team won game one of a best-of-7 series. Guys, his teams are 27-2 in record in series in those situations. 27 series wins are a record. All right. Future Hall of Famer Vince Carter, you can see him there, and NBA insider Brian Windhorst with me now. Guys, I want to just give you my quick take. Series is over. Series is over. I mean, what Ja just had, there's no way Ja's going to play the next game. And if he, forget about the series, right? Just the next game or two. And if he does, how's he going to shoot the thing, right? So that means the Grizzlies are not going to win another game at home. They ain't coming back from that. Wendy, am I right about this?
Have you ever watched the NBA, Max? Do you understand how long and crazy things can happen in a series? I mean, I will say this. If the Lakers are going to ever win a game on the road, you do it the day that Rui Hachimura has the best shooting game of his career, and that's what they were able to do. What blew me away about this game, outside of the Ja Morant injury, which obviously frames the whole series, this was a road playoff game, a high-stakes game. LeBron James had one shot in the fourth quarter and 0 assists. I feel like there was 4 or 5 minutes where he didn't even touch the ball. That is an incredible thing. Shows the Lakers' depth, shows their margin for error, because obviously if the Lakers are going to make any sort of playoff run, LeBron is going to have to carry them to victories like that. And it underscores just how much deeper this team is following their midseason trade, and underscores how valuable Anthony Davis is in this series. And so it's not just the health of Ja Morant, because the Grizzlies have survived Ja Morant injuries at times in the past. The issue is that without Ja Morant, they're down 3 of their top 7 players and are facing a team that is very deep.
And who knows if they even beat the Lakers with a healthy Ja. But without a healthy Ja, I'm just telling you that the Lakers, knock wood, would have to sustain some major injury for them to come back. And by the way, Vince, like I hear everything Wendy's saying. Of course, it's true. And yet there's LeBron with the chase down block. There's LeBron with the deep three from way behind the top of the key, right? Like, there he is when you need him. You see the Lakers taking game two if Ja can't go, Vince?
I do. I still see the Lakers getting it done. And one thing I said is if the Lakers do happen to win game one, LeBron, AD will then smell blood and will go for it and try to get 2 out in Memphis. So, yeah, and I said, we say, yeah, we're looking for LeBron. Well, we know LeBron will close, but we need AD to still be that guy and to be a closer as well, because, I mean, down the line, I think it's important for him to have that mentality. So if there is a situation, well, if there's no Ja Morant, now this is kind of for AD to be that guy, to be that closer, to be the guy for them to ride the wave off of his shoulders, because it's great to have Hachimura shooting like that, and it's great to have Austin Reeves like that, play like that. But how many games will they do that? I don't know. But we know LeBron James and Anthony Davis should, will, and can do that each and every night. So that just says a lot about their team. And last thing I want to say is, I'm a huge fan of coaches giving your bench guys an opportunity to play and feel good about themselves in regular season for moments like what we're seeing. Somebody's going to have to do it for the Memphis Grizzlies coming off the bench, a guy like Tyus Jones. Somebody's going to have to do it in Milwaukee until or if Giannis comes back. Now that you've empowered Rui Hachimura because he's played with the starting unit, now Austin Reeves earned his way with the starting unit. You can do this where you can not get touches or give touches to LeBron and AD and watch those 2 guys do their thing. That's what it's all about in regular season, building for these moments.
Real quick, guys, because we have to move on. We'll see if Hachimura can continue to hit those wide open shots. Austin Reeves is good. He's been good. This is not a mirage. The guy is a good NBA player. This just inactive. We're still awaiting word on Giannis after the Bucks superstar left game one, a loss, with a lower back contusion. Wendy, what can you tell us about Giannis today?
Well, they're hoping that a couple of days of treatment and rest will get him in a position where he can go in Wednesday's game 2. This is something that he's going to have to battle. You know, he has been dealing with nagging injuries throughout the second half of the season. He's been dealing with a wrist injury. He's been dealing with a knee inflammation. And this was obviously a hard blow. And the one thing we've seen about Giannis throughout his career is his ability to manage his way through injuries. So it is worrisome, but I don't think the Bucks believe it's an injury that will knock him out for a period of time. But yet another thing to monitor. And look, this is game 1. He is going to hit the floor a lot more if the Bucks are going where they hope to go.
38 points, including 29 in the second half alone. The good news for the Warriors is Steph put up 30, and Andrew Wiggins had 17 off the bench. Let's bring back Vince Carter now, and NBA analyst Kirk Goldsberry, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that Kirk Goldsberry. You're on ESPN.com. You see the charts. You're on Twitter. What stands out to you about the efficiency of the offense and the defense? That guy. All right, guys, let me tell you what I think. I think the Warriors losing this game, no big deal. Right? They've been terrible on the road all year. You know they're going to have to win a road game at some point. But actually, the pressure's on Sacramento. You can't drop a home game to the Warriors. It's great that the Sacramento beat them in a back-and-forth game, but they're supposed to do that at home. Pressure's still on Sac to win. Vince, I see you shaking your head no. What was your takeaway from game 1?
I don't think, first of all, the takeaway is that Sacramento, being in this situation, unfamiliar territory, was able just to go out there and play their game, and they did not look rattled. Their bench came in and got it done. Just think, they played this game, their best shooters, Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter, didn't play a lot of minutes and have great shooting nights. For me, the pressure is still, the Golden State Warriors may say there's no pressure, but you do not want Sacramento to go 2-0 going into your building with that kind of confidence. Now the Sacramento Kings say, we just got to get one. We just got to get one to get back to our building to possibly, put ourselves in a position to win the series. So I think the Golden State Warriors are okay, but they need to have a sense of urgency coming into game 2.
Kirk, what stood out to you about the champs in game 1?
Yeah, the champs have 3 problems. They all begin with D. De'Aaron Fox is one of them, Max. And then defense and depth are the other 2. In terms of defense, if you tell me the Warriors are going to score 123 points, I'm going to tell you they won in this dynasty, but that didn't happen. Their defense gave up 126 points to Sacramento. And then depth, Steph Curry isn't the problem. The Warriors won the 37 Curry minutes by 11 points, and then they lost the 11 non-Steph minutes by 14 points. So they need better depth, better performances from those role players, and Vince is exactly right. Sabonis didn't play well either, so credit to Sacramento. But Golden State needs better defense and better play from that depth in Game 2.
Guys, De'Aaron Fox to me has always seemed to be the kind of guy, and the reason is because, yes, I'm one of these basketball fans. I'm watching the Sweet 16. Lonzo Ball's getting all the press. He torched him on both ends of the floor, played him the whole game, kept him to like 10 points, and then dropped 39 of his own, and his team won. And he seemed to me, based on that largely, to be the kind of guy who would shine in these moments, and then he has shown again here. Does the past mean anything about future performance in the playoffs to both of you guys? Vince, let me start with you quickly.
Well, I had De'Aaron as a rookie, and just watching him grow and just mature into this player, you could see all the intangibles. You could see that he had something special. He just had to figure it out and put it together, and he is putting it together.
Kirk, what about you? Does past performance, when the lights shine brightest, mean anything to you about future performance?
Yeah, sometimes, but this is an era change in Sacramento, Max. This is the light the beam era. This is a credit to Mike Brown and that coaching staff. They have changed something there. But De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis are great now, and they proved it in Game 1, that this is a new era in Sacramento.
They fell short to the Clippers Game 1 Sunday, and that was without Paul George. Kawhi torched Phoenix, and he looks all the way back, Kawhi, and he's been that way for a couple months. Dropped 38. Russell Westbrook was bricking a bunch of shots, but had an effective game. And he sealed the win with a huge block on Devin Booker in the closing seconds. Another problem for the Suns. KD only took one shot in the final 5 minutes of the game. The great Vince Carter, an NBA analyst extraordinaire, Kirk Goldsberry back with me. Guys, on the one hand, early in KD's career, you could deny him the ball. He's not really physically strong, and then it turned out he was playing like as good basketball as you could ever see anyone play, defense, passing, scoring. But the one knock against KD could still be, even though he's only ever been additive and would only ever be additive to any team even theoretically in history, because he doesn't need the ball, right? He could do everything. Man, sometimes you want to see him impose himself on the game a little bit more. The flip, of course, side of that is maybe he's doing what LeBron sometimes does early in series, seeing what everyone could do. He was obviously making concerted effort, looking for Book and his teammates. Still, Kirk, seems to me there was a game that was up for grabs, and if KD had imposed himself a little bit, maybe they'd have grabbed it.
Yeah, credit where credit's due, though, Max. Kawhi Leonard did that to LeBron James. That's how he became a household name back in 2014 and a Finals MVP, by shutting down LeBron James. And, you know, Kawhi is all the way back. You said it. But you're right. If Phoenix wants to win this series, we need more Durant and less Ayton. And in crunch time and overall, we can't have DeAndre Ayton shooting the ball more than Kevin freaking Durant, who is the best scorer in the world right now. But didn't look like it in game one. And if they're going to get back in this series, they need to get Kevin going and finding ways to free him up from Kawhi if that's what it's going to take, Max.
And Vince, it's not fair because Tim Bontemps is not here. I'll get him later in the week. But we were arguing about this. I'll leave MJ alone. Let's leave MJ out of this. Take a guy like Kobe Bryant, right? KD is a gooder scorer than Kobe Bryant. But Kobe was a greater scorer than KD. You know, like if Kobe would, you got the feeling, he's gonna take that ball and take over. And KD sometimes doesn't do that. What do you make of the Suns' Game 1 loss?
I look at this, like we talked about Ayton taking 16 shots, and look at Torrey Craig, who took 12 shots. So that tells me, if I did not watch the game, I watched this. I look at those stats and I say, well, they made KD get off the ball, and they said, we're going to lose. If we lose, we're losing to Ayton taking shots and Torrey Craig. Torrey Craig, I think the Clippers will live with Torrey Craig with 22 points. So, yes, he has to assert himself more. I think if they can get out and transition a little more, that will help them. One thing that bothered me with Ayton is settling in for jump shots, because if they didn't get, they shoot the mid-range. They didn't get to the basket all the time because their bigs were just dominant. But like Ayton, put pressure on the rim, pressure on the rim, and to get those guys in foul trouble, that opens the floor up a little more for Booker and KD. So I give credit to Ty Lue. I think he just had a great game plan, just crowding, putting a lot of bodies in KD's vision and in his driving lanes, making him get off the ball a little bit. And I think now he just has to assert himself. He can shoot over anyone in the league. I don't care if you're a guard or a center, and he just has to just go for it and be that aggressor and that go-to guy that he is.
Kirk, as I mentioned, the flip side, and quick answers, guys, but the flip side is like LeBron sometimes will probe and figure out teams, and KD just got there. It's only the 9th game he's played with the team. Do you think maybe that's what was going on? KD is studying and now adjusts?
Yeah, it's a playoff basketball is very hard, Max, and this is just a chemistry experiment right now in Phoenix.
Right. What do you think, Vince?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a part of it, too. He's a very unselfish superstar. He's all about getting his guys involved, and that's what he's done. But now it's time for him to make that adjustment to Ty Lue and say, you know what, now I'm still going to score over double teams.